Right, I'm going to tell a story now to kind of put some perspective into what it entails, what farm marketing entails at various points, in relation to the stages in the marketing process that I'm describing. So the story you're about to listen to is actually a true story, and it has to do with a farm business owner based in Ibadan. I actually know this story because it's somebody who, when he launched the marketing strategy I'm about to describe, he did it using just a free platform on the internet. And the success he achieved, it was there. We could actually see it as he progressed. And it was interesting to see that he literally did it without spending any money other than what must have been spent on his internet connection, and also what he invested in getting some resources together. So I just not to waste any time, let me just tell you what he did exactly. So I read this, as I discovered this gentleman. Um, I think it was in 2017. All right, that I read his first post on the internet. What he did was to go to a very popular website. I don't know how to mention the website's name, um, but I think it's important to just focus on what he did, not necessarily where he did it. The important thing for you to know is that it was a place where a lot of people were in the habit of going to place details about their business. So there's some platforms that allow you to literally do free advertising or free marketing of your stuff. You put up profiles and all of that, and then you're allowed to post things. It's a community where people are able to discuss, all right, that kind of thing. Okay, because personally I don't like that platform, but I found that some people who are using that platform, they achieve phenomenal success compared to when they use just only their websites and things like that. This individual didn't even have a website. So I want you to understand, he did not have a website, but believe me, what you're about to hear, you'll see that it was a phenomenal achievement, if by Nigerian standards and even standards anywhere in the world. All right, and this is something that he did as a farm business owner without getting outside expertise in terms of the use of technology, and he did it very well. All right, so basically, what happened was he had been experiencing low sales, and he wanted to reinvent his farm in terms of the kind of people he was selling to. Remember, we just talked about the second tip, which was defining your target audience profile. Who is your ideal customer? Being able to reach out to them and attract them, as compared to people that cannot kind of offer you the same benefits in terms of purchase. So this individual, what he did was to go and buy a new bus, or I don't know, maybe a second-hand bus. He bought a bus, and the bus was meant to be used for deliveries. So he had a large poultry farm. I cannot remember the capacity anymore, but he had the capacity to produce large numbers of crates in bulk. All right, and they were big, different size eggs, but generally they were big size eggs. But he had about two categories, and it was large and then extra large. He didn't have any medium size eggs. All right, so what he wanted, and I think this is where you begin to understand what I said about each farm being unique. He wanted people that will come and buy from him, take the eggs off from him in bulk. He didn't want to sell maybe 1-2 crates and things like that. He didn't want traffic of human beings. He decided he wanted people that would take off the eggs from him in large batches. So that was how he conceived his marketing strategy. So he got a bus, all right, branded the bus, took pictures of the bus, then took pictures of the different categories of eggs, excuse me, that he was producing from the farm. This was a new batch of birds. They just began laying eggs. So then what he did was to come onto the internet, go to this particular platform. I do not know, based on what he wrote, whether he used other platforms as well. And I do not know whether he went anywhere else to create maybe like advertisements. All right. But the impression I get from looking at what he did on that particular popular platform was that he just came there and posted his description of his offer, and then began to promote it in different threads, conversation threads that were related to the theme of agriculture. All right, so you get this now, because this is what you're supposed to do. You have to take ownership of your marketing, and you have to think about how you can do that and get the results you want. Okay, especially when you say you don't have money to pay an outside expert. So this was what he did, and then after taking the pictures of the eggs and all that, he made an offer. He basically said, Good evening, everybody. Or good afternoon, I can't remember. Now I have these two sizes of eggs, and I'm looking for people who can buy a minimum of, I think it was about 50 crates of eggs or something like that, on an average of, I think, a weekly basis. And if you buy as much as that, no matter where you are in the country, I will bring the eggs to you and drop it at your doorstep, so long as you make a payment of, I think it was a 70% of the total amount that is required. All right. Now, maybe the crates of egg cost each one maybe cost at that time maybe 700 naira for the big size. He would, if you paid for 50 crates of eggs of that size, the equivalent naira value, he would bring. You wouldn't have to pay him for transportation and all that. He would bring them to you. So I think what he was shooting for was having the opportunity to sell off in bulk large quantities of eggs, so I did not have a build back and become prone to the problem of egg glut that tends to happen to a lot of people. All right. So he did this and then began to promote it in different. I encountered his short version post, which will have a link to the full message, the full offer, in several other threads. So he did this, and I want to tell you this: he had to wait for about 6 months before he got the first response to his offer. From what I could see there on that particular offer, by the time people began to comment and indicate interest, when I say interest, I mean people are saying, seriously saying, okay, hello, I'm based in Port Harcourt, you are in Ibadan. Are you saying you can deliver to me in Port Harcourt? Because I do need eggs. I have a bakery and we use eggs, and we need to know how reliable your supply will be, because we have other people who are doing it here who are not able to supply us this quality of eggs, okay, with this kind of volume. So these people were in Port Harcourt. They were looking at whether or not they could actually buy from him, but they wanted to be sure that if they initiated the relationship, he would be able to sustain the deliveries. And so he responded and told them, let's I think they did it at a few exchanges online, and at the point they took it offline where they went on phone. Then he came back and continued to post more. So we didn't know what had happened, transpired with that individual. He just kept going. I lost touch with him for a while, and I think I came back about, let's say, maybe 7-8 months later, and believe me, what I saw was amazing. This individual at that point in time, at that 7-8 months later, had posted a response to somebody who had said, oh, I think the person was in somewhere in the southwest. He said, okay, first of all, I'll tell you, whenever people made inquiries at that time, he would tell them, okay, he would call them up. So they will have, at the point you say, I'll call you. But at this point, when I came in at 7-8 months later, he told the person, he said, look, we are no longer taking on people who are interested in having us deliver to them. We are now asking people to come to the farm to pick up eggs. Reason, we now have so many people that have booked us down that we have not even the capacity to meet up those people. So we cannot take on more people. So we're trying to meet up those people that place orders with us, that he had already received orders that are covered the rest of the year. That because each person that was making an inquiry to him, he was having to tell them, okay, there's a queue now. All right. Okay, so there's been a backlog. You need to join the queue, so that when the next free opening that becomes available, we will come and deliver to you. So you need to make your booking upfront. There are no eggs right now available for you. And you see, that created, interestingly, more interest from people. What happened was people were thinking, if this guy can have this kind of situation in which he can't even promise to deliver immediately to me, and I have to wait like sometimes 2-3 weeks before he can deliver to me, I'd like to kind of be on this queue. So you know how scarcity creates greater opportunity for you to earn profits if you're the person selling the item that is scarce. That is what happened. So suddenly people began to queue up, and he got to a point where he couldn't even take on people who were saying they wanted to buy. And he was even advising some of them they could look around for other farms that could do a similar thing. But that was the problem. Other farms were not offering to do the same thing. This is what set him apart, made him unique. All right. So this story is designed to explain the third item, the third tip, all right, which is try and find a way to make yourself unique, to set yourself apart from the crowd. You've got to come up with an offer, a unique selling offer a unique selling proposition, something you will say you will do for anybody that indicates interest in buying from you, that will make the person feel he would rather deal with you, he would rather do business with you than go to another person to do business. This individual, as I said, by that time showed us the pictures on his farm where they were loading eggs for delivery to some company. I can't remember where it was now. They said they're into catering, all right, and they needed eggs, and they were saying they were loading it and they were going to deliver. And that individual, that particular company, had placed an order with them that would require about 4 deliveries of the full loaded bus. So now think about it this way: if he had not done that marketing and he continued to depend on people kind of coming to the farm at their own pace and their own thing and their own time to buy, he would probably have had to deal with periods when there will be a build back of eggs and he will have to be probably selling off at a lower price. But what he had now done was, by doing this, putting this marketing offer out there for the world to see on very popular platforms, he was able to get large numbers of people over time. It didn't happen immediately, who came to him and then said, look, we would like to get your product. So now he had a situation in which cash flow was no longer his problem, because now people were booking upfront to get access to the kind of eggs he was having. Now you can imagine that he will be able to use that money to do a lot more to make the farm deliver even better. Now this is just because he chose to adopt a strategy that was different from what the average person was using. Okay, by making an offer that other people were not making, which set him apart from the crowd and effectively made him more attractive to potential buyers. So you have to set yourself apart from the crowd by making an offer that is unique and that makes you look more attractive to people that want to buy what you are selling. Any farm business owner that can do that is likely to experience better selling opportunities than somebody who's not doing the same thing. All right, I hope this has been useful, and if you have any questions, please reach out to me.